Fifth grade Excel, lesson 20, recognizing three-dimensional figures, a sphere, a cube, a cone, a cylinder, a rectangular, square, and triangular pyramid, rectangular and triangular prisms. Learning the terminology of flat and curved faces, vertices, and edges. So we've got a lot of geometry in this lesson, and you're going to have to kind of picture these shapes that you see down here below as being three-dimensional shapes, and I'm going to explain to you what that means right now. Let's take a look at the lesson. It says plane figures are also called two-dimensional and have only length and width. So the paper you're looking at right now is a two-dimensional shape. It has length and it has width. It does not have depth to it. In fact, these pictures down here at the bottom, they're actually two-dimensional shapes. They only have length and width. They're flat. They're completely flat. Now, the way that they draw them makes them look as though they also have depth to them. But they do not really have depth. It's just a trick that your brain is playing on, or your eyes are playing on your brain. If you look around the room right now, the things that you see are three-dimensional. These are three-dimensional figures because they have length, width, and height, or depth to them. And they're also called solid figures. When you look at the couch, it's three-dimensional. It's got length, it's got height, it's also got depth to it. It goes back away from you. And when you look at the people in the room, they have height, they have width, they also have depth to them. They go away from you. All of these shapes here do not go away from you. They're all completely flat. Now, they are drawings of three-dimensional shapes, so like I said before, it's kind of a trick on your brain, but understand that there is no real depth to those at all. The dotted lines and shading are provided to help you see the hidden sides of each figure. Can you identify any two-dimensional figures that are used to make the solid figures? Well, let's talk about that. Here we have, on this first one, number one, a cube. Both of these, let me get rid of the marks here to make this a little bit easier to see. Alrighty. These two here are both called cubes. Do you see any two-dimensional figures that are used to make the solid? You should say that you have squares that make up this solid shape. And let's take a look at a rectangular prism. This is a rectangular prism, that's a rectangular prism. We have rectangles that make up this shape. There's a rectangle there, rectangle on there. And then the next one we have is called a triangular prism. Prism basically means like a block. Okay, so we have a rectangular block here, we have a triangular block here, because it has a triangular base on each side. You can see there's one at the bottom, one at the top, and then we have, so that's made of triangles. We also have rectangles that are on the side. They don't really look like rectangles in that picture, but they truly are rectangles. Then we have a cylinder. Cylinder is made up of two circles, one on the top and one on the bottom. Those are not ovals, those are actually cylinders. And then we have basically a rectangle that's wrapped around the outside. And then next we have a sphere. A sphere is like a ball. And so they put this little oval in there to show you that it's got depth to it, that it's three-dimensional. And over here they put this little shiny part in there to make you understand that it's three-dimensional. All right, let's keep moving on here. Here's a square pyramid. This is a pyramid that has a square as its base. All the corners come up and meet at the top in one spot. Here's a rectangular pyramid. The base here, instead of being a square, is a rectangle. Oh, by the way, this is made up of four different triangles. Triangle here, two in the back, and it's made up of a square on the bottom. Same thing here, we have triangle, but we have a rectangle that makes up the base. Here's a triangular pyramid. The base is a triangle, and then we have triangles that go up the side, up connecting to one point. Here's a cone. The cone has a circle, and then it has some sort of a curved face here, a shape that goes around that way and makes up the rest of the shape. That's not really, that shape right there is not one that you can identify as being some sort of a two-dimensional shape. Most three-dimensional figures have flat faces, which are two-dimensional polygons. So a flat face is a shape that you already know about, a two-dimensional polygon, like square, rectangle, triangle, and so on. Cubes, pyramids, and prisms each have one or more flat faces. So you can see we have a flat face here because we can call that a square. We have a flat face there because we can call that a triangle. We have a flat face here because we can call that a rectangle, and so on. Cones and cylinders have circular bases. A circular base on that cone. And then if we go back here to this one, we also have a circular base here. It's a circle that the shape sits on. Now, why is that called a circular base? These are not considered faces like up here because a circle is not a polygon. You should know that from your understanding of polygons. Polygons have to have 3 or more straight sides with no openings. Well, a circle has no straight sides, so it's not considered a polygon, so it's not considered to be a flat face. Instead, we call it a circular base. Cones, cylinders, and spheres each have one curved surface. That would be this part right here. It's a surface and it's curved. Straight edges are formed where flat faces meet. And so what we have, let me get rid of all these marks here to make it a little bit easier to see. Where this flat, let me do it on this one. Where this flat face meets this flat face, we have an edge, a straight edge that is formed. Curved edges are formed where a curved surface meets a circular base. So here we have a curved edge because this curved surface is meeting the circular base there, so that's a curved edge. All right, a vertex is the point where at least 3 straight edges, 3-dimensional figures, or 2 straight lines, 2-dimensional figures, come together. So this is a vertex there, this is a vertex here, vertex, vertex. The way I remember that is, it says all figures except a sphere and a cylinder have at least one vertex. The vertex of a cone is the point formed by its curved surface. Okay? The plural of vertex is vertices. This is one vertex, and that is 4 vertices that I have marked. Circle one vertex on each of the figures that has a vertex. So you can see I've already got it going on this first shape, the cube. And the way I remember vertex is that the letter V that starts the word has a vertex right there. So I can see, 7 vertices on this, and there would be one more vertex back there in the back that I cannot see. I'd like you to pause the video, circle one vertex on each of these shapes that has one, turn the video back on to check to see if you've done it right. All right, now that you've circled one vertex on each, you should have circled one of these. Just any of the corners, basically. Here we have a vertex, 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 vertex. This has no vertices, that has no vertices. You should have circled one of these. You could circle all of them if you want to, but it just says to circle one. One of these, and that is your only choice on the cone. All right, this next part is pretty tricky. You're going to pause the video. You're going to fill in all of these boxes on this whole chart. You're going to turn it back on to see if you did it correctly. But first, let's go ahead and do the cube together so you can see how it works, and then I'll have you do the rest of it on your own. So, cube. What we're going to do is, how many vertices are there on a cube? We just learned what a vertex is. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top, and then there would be 4 also on the bottom. So there are 8 vertices. Go ahead and fill that in your chart. How many flat faces does it have? You might have to go back and watch the rest of the video again if you can't remember what these things are. That's the beauty of the video. You can watch it as many times as you need to. There's a flat face, there's a flat face, that's 3. And then there would be 3 on the back and the bottom because it's like a dice. And of course there's 6 sides on a die. And so the answer would be 6 flat faces. How many circular bases are there? Let me erase this. It's kind of a mess. No, come on, come on. Okay, how many circular bases? Well, there are no circles on here. There's no bases that you'd call a circle, so the answer would be 0. How many curved surfaces? There's no surfaces that are curved. How many straight edges? Well, we have 1, 2, 3, and then 1 in the back there. That's 4. Around the bottom, we'd have 4. That's 8. And then around the top, we'd have 4. So that makes 12 because there's 3 sets of 4. 12 curved edges, or straight edges. How many curved edges are there? Well, there's no curved edges on that, so you'd put the number 0. All right, pause the video, fill in the rest of the chart, turn it back on to see if you have the right answers. All righty, I'm going to go over this kind of quickly with you and then show you the answers. Again, go back and watch the video again if you don't understand some of these things. But this one is just like this one, so you should have all the same numbers here. it basically is the same thing. A triangular prism, you have a triangle on each side, and there's nothing curved on it. Circular bases are curved. I'll show you the answers to that in a second. Now in a cylinder, we do have these two curved bases, circular bases, and so I put 2 for that one. And we have this one curved surface that goes around the outside. On a sphere, there are no bases on that. There's just a curved surface. All right, and then on a square pyramid, you have a square going around the bottom, and you have 4 lines going up connected to the top. These two are identical. And then on a triangular pyramid, you only have 3 around the bottom here, and then 3 going up to the top. And so that's a total of 6 straight edges on that one. And I'm going to show you all the answers in just a second. And then on a cone, you do have the one curved surface, you have the one circular base, and you have the one vertex. So here are all the answers. Go ahead and pause the video, check them out, and make sure that you have the answers correct. If you're not right on some of them, again, you might want to watch the video again or really ask yourself, why is this right and your paper is wrong? Thanks for watching Lesson 20.